If rivers had voices to vent out their anger or tears to express their frustrations, then the Wouri in Douala is certainly in its worst state of mind. Environmental experts are unanimous that River Wouri, the source of Cameroon's name, is gasping for breath due to different kinds of pollution.
We are in Bonaberi. You have about 10 villages in Bonaberi. When you move around, you realize that some of the villages, they don't have classical toilets. So the communities, they just do it, the excreta, and then it's carried by rains and poured into the rivers. That's pollution. When we say non-point source pollution, it means somebody in Yabasi or in the Mungo, they're doing a lot of agriculture in the Mungo. So through floods, drainages, water sweeps these pesticides and what have you, come dumped in the Wouri River. It impacts on fish, it impacts on the plants, it impacts on human beings. And so it is non-point source because it's right far there.
The pollution we're experiencing now in the Wouri River in particular, it's coming from the industrial activities. We have a lot of cement factories that are around the Wouri River now. They're pumping a lot of their waste into the rivers.
The consequences of this pollution are far-reaching. First, the quantity of fish from the river is affected. Planktons
cannot go, fish is totally reduced. The fish you get from here, sometimes in the past, I remember some analysis was conducted on some fishes that were caught around here, and they found a high level of mercury, and this was alarming because you see this mercury comes from anthropogenic activities, that's human activities, and this is calling us to really be very concerned about the situation. Aside the drop in quantity of fish, the quality of this seafood and its impact on the aquatic ecosystem as well as human health also call for concern.
The Wouri is like a sanctuary for water birds for other countries. And so they depend on this very fish that is being contaminated by the oils, by the heavy metals from the industries, cement industries all over the whole place. They have heavy metals like mercury, platinum. They said they get all those things, copper, they put all of those things inside their lead. And so you have the water birds, they depend on fish. Snakes, they also depend on the fish. And then the fish themselves, they depend on plankton, which can be phytoplankton or zooplankton. So they also eat those small things, and then they have to develop. Then now man again depends on fish. It's a chain. So if you contaminate the fish, you are contaminating man. So that oil from the garage, it has the same oil like the oil from the fish. So it gets there, stick onto it, it develops with it, and then us, man, we take the fish, we go to La Rue de la Joie, get them there, choose the fattest fish that is contaminated with pollutants, and then we are eating with our girlfriends, with our women, and then we think that we are doing great, but we are contaminating ourselves because that oil that got into that fish, it also sticks into our own adipose tissue, that's fatty tissue. It's same as like, dissolved like, and then that's why you have all the cancers. Yes, cancer of the lips, cancer of the breast, cancer of the uterus, cancer, all type of cancer. And so it is a slow poison. Yes, the worst that is happening in the Wouri are heavy metals. Heavy metals. I think Professor Fonge, who is a member of the Cameroon Society of Toxicological Science, she did some studies on heavy metals in the Wouri. If you get that study, you will never eat fish in the Wouri. I'm not trying to blackmail fishermen. He is spoiling the market, but some of these big fishes that we eat here, it's all contaminated because it comes from, you see, the cement industry that the highest polluter, they have mercury. It's a big poison. Lead, it's a big poison. It gets chromium. It gets from all the installations. It's poured here, and then it gets into our food system. We eat it, and then the worst are the children that are still right there in the stomach.
Complacency of some public authorities and non-compliance of some companies to environmental norms continue to foil the battle against pollution in the Wouri.
I want the inspectors, the delegates, like the Wouri delegate and all those who go to those industries to check compliance. They should go and get them to do audits, get them to do the environmental impact assessment, the audits, and come out with environmental management measures, come out with environmental action plan. Sometimes you have some people who will say they want to go get this contaminated water and treat them. What they do is that they just go put them in some huge containers and then wait in the night when rains are falling. They just come now, open the pipes and then introduce them at a slow rate, and they're just flowing, contaminating all the streams, getting back into the Wouri, contaminating fish. And that's why you see around when you're moving to Yaoundé, around the Douala tree there, they do this place they call Pont Noir. It is always Pont Noir, always black, because in the night, especially when it is raining, some people come, open the pipes and throw those things there. Yes, after receiving money from government, from companies, pretending that they are treating.
In terms of the regulatory framework, there is one. There is the law on water, which requires that before you release any wastewater into the environment, it must be with an authorization. And that authorization spells out the standards of various parameters that must be respected before it is released. And equally, this is being backed by impact assessment, which is required for any industries that want to set up.
Authorities say there is already a glimpse of hope to resolve pollution induced by poor sewage disposal in the river.
We proposed to the Douala City Council to build a project on a sewage facility in partnership with the Port Authority, Seaport Authority, the airport of Cameroon, because neither of these two big structures have a sewer. So Douala City equally doesn't have a sewer. So we have suggested a joint venture project of the building of a sewer for the city of Douala between these three big institutions. This project is far advanced and it will soon come to the day.
But now, since the City Council has found a solution for excreta and all the other biodegradable waste, industrial waste becomes a very big problem, and it gets back to the industries because you cannot produce food, expect people to eat, and then you go again, the waste now contaminates the environment, and then it turns into a vicious cycle. So that's the gravity of Wouri. Fish in Wouri is not, I will not plebiscite that people should eat it.
The problem is profound and the consequences immeasurable. Experts hold that this flagship water body in the country requires concerted efforts for its protection.
We sensitize, one, the population, the industries. We sanction, two, those who are not willing to change. And we make sure that actually those who have to do impact assessment to mitigate or to reduce this impact will do this impact assessment for doing.
Industrialization and population growth are inevitable factors of pollution, but there is need for stronger strategies to mitigate this adversity. On the Wouri, else the vicious cycle continues.